All right, and I think we are live. That's not a good sign. All right. Hey everyone. We are back doing another live stream. I'm David.
I'm
Bree.
Bree.
She's good at this. And we have a special guest. You can't see him, but I'm sure you will be able to see him throughout today. So our topic, and let me put this there. So I figured we'd actually focus on topics. And then last week we were kind of all over the place just because we wanted to see if we enjoyed the live streaming part. And we did, and it was fun. And we ended up talking about money more than we thought we would. And we're like, hey, there's actually a whole bunch of money topics we have thought a lot about and worked through and talked to others about. And we're like, well, let's just start with those because people seem to respond to that sometimes. So anyway, so today the topic we're going to talk about is how much it actually costs to own a dog and what that looks like. Because I feel like a lot of the advice online is not 100% accurate. Oh, here's our special guest. There you go. This is Ajax, for those who don't know him or haven't met him yet. He's so happy to be here. Oh, shit. Oh my gosh. Let me go close the window so I can't hear anything.
Sorry. See, this is life with the dog. A hyper dog who heard other growling and then decided to randomly start barking. Ajax, come here.
He will not be here the whole time.
Yeah. You can let him down. He said hi.
You want to come down? Oh, gosh. He will be back once he knows how to behave.
He likes to lay on. The reason why you sort of saw him was because he likes to lay on my desk when I work, which is where we're at right now. So
I'll take a picture so you can see it. We call her computer Lizzo because it's big and beautiful. At least I do.
He calls it.
All right. So anyway, so we're gonna talk about the dog thing because we ran some numbers. So we're gonna give you the actual first year costs of the dog and then what the monthly cost is. So if you're thinking about getting a dog, you should definitely pay attention because I think depending on how you go about the process, it's going to cost more than most people think. And yeah, it's kind of plan accordingly. So before we go into that though, Squid Game has been super huge, and I figured it'd be fun to kind of start with a fun question for us and for you guys. So if you won the Squid Game money, which I don't remember, it was 46 billion won, but it's $38 million. I looked it up to make sure. So if you won $38 million, how would you spend that? You can write in the comments too. How would you spend that? You go first.
I would invest money and save a little bit and put a travel budget aside because we really want to travel. So I'd go to the Galapagos at the most expensive, as long as it's also really good quality trip in 2023.
When the world's open.
When the world's open. I have no idea. That's a lot of money. Maybe do nice things for other people, like buy our moms a house that's nice and start a foundation, like a charitable foundation or whatever, so that we can make the giving go more. And yeah, just share with people I like. It would allow me to have a bigger giving budget. I could be a really cool aunt, not have money, so I can do things with money. Not that you need to do things with money, but also not worry about I don't know that we would buy a new fancy $1 million house and buy a new fancy everything, but we might. I just also think we might more do our extra stuff. If you wanted to do your racing hobby, we would buy something like that. Or if there are other hobbies that we put off, like I said, traveling, or maybe something for Ajax, who is the theme of this conversation, maybe get him a sibling to play with or buy a dog park for our area so that he could always do that. I have no idea. Would
so
you
nice.
share your money with
You're so
others,
nice.
like Kyle?
Yeah, you and Kyle are like thinking about everyone else. My first ones were not thinking about how I would give it away and spend it on everyone else. But you're right. So I did. So like obviously I knew the question beforehand. So I did the quick math. So like if you take the 38 million and just put it in dividend stocks or just like, you know, nice passive income thing, right? And I'm assuming you could because like if the people had enough power to do everything, like I'm hoping they have enough power to get you out of paying taxes on the money that you won. That seems like a fair trade. So what I would do is so I'd throw it in there and then like, you know, maybe we'll talk about investments in like a future one. But basically you can like pull out 4% forever without it going down or being bad, right? So 4% of that is $1.5 million a year or about 120 grand a month.
Wow, so that basically means we would be able to do whatever we want all the time.
All the time. Yeah. So like
we would still work, like have our projects and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like we wouldn't just probably for a while though, just go to a beach and retire forever. But like I think $1 million house, 30-year mortgage is like $5,000 a month, right? So like we could buy a whole street of $1 million houses for like us, our siblings.
We have a whole community of people we
our
like.
Parents, yeah.
Is that discrimination?
Friends? No.
Does that break laws?
I mean, when you have millions of dollars, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
That's
so
true.
like we could literally buy like $10 million houses and just give them away to everyone and then just all kind of hang out on the same street. They're pretty cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And then still have a good amount left to do whatever we want every week.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think that's really cool.
That would be fun. That's a good use of money. See, it's still like sharing with others, I guess.
Yeah.
Just not right away.
Not right away. But anyways, and then I'd absolutely like buy every car I've ever dreamt of. So
what cars have you dreamt of?
Dodge Viper and
any Dodge Viper?
So I really liked, gosh, for all the car nerds, I really liked the 1999 like era. But after 2016, they redid the body and like that's beautiful. That's the Dodge Viper I'd get. It's like 120 grand or 140. But I would buy that in a heartbeat. And then I'd buy you a Tesla.
Yeah, I would want a Tesla.
That's your dream
I think
car.
Teslas are just so beautiful. They're so beautiful. And they're probably a little better for the environment.
Yeah, 100 times better than the environment than a gigantic V8 Dodge Viper.
Yep. Everything has a cost to the environment. So I know there were some people who are like, but it's at least a little better.
Right.
If not a lot, depending on what you get. So.
Gosh. All right. So for those of you like just kind of jumping into the stream, we are talking about like the cost of dog ownership. And we'll bring our special guest back in a little bit when he comes down. But anyways, so getting to that, how was your week? What did you accomplish this week?
Getting to that has nothing to do with.
We're circling around. We're coming. We're taking the long route.
My week was stressful. So if you saw the last stream, I'm doing a Google UX design certificate program. And my first portfolio project, I had to do like the first part of that, which is to interview participants for the project, to collect research and create user personas. And I will say, people are always like, yeah, I'm willing to help, but they never like commit. so I am really appreciative if you were one of the people who are like, oh, I'll help you out or whatever. But I'm extra super appreciative to those of you who were like actually scheduled the interview and actually talked to me. Shout out to my brothers accounts in particular, because they were really helpful. And then I had a few other people in our social network. So I started not even sure if I would have more than one interview officially, because you never know if people are flaky. And then I ended up with 5 or 6 interviews. So that was really helpful. thank you. I know I was probably driving him insane.
You were
insane
good.
with
You were
like
good.
just being so worried
She-
because I also like one of my roles was it would be really easy to go through the program and just like skim everything and like half-ass it for
Which people
lack
do.
of a better way to say it,
Yeah.
right? And so I wanted to really commit and like do it well.
And you did. Like,
yeah. So I have awesome user personas, I think, especially
Mhm.
looking at other people's. So that was my week trying to get that done. If you are someone who would love to help with any survey questions or testing prototypes, so like pseudo products, then feel free to let me know.
Yeah. Well, I'll like find a way to link to everything. Because like we made her website at brieramos.com.
Yeah.
And so she's doing a few cool things. She's making obviously her portfolio, which will come to life more. And then she is doing 2 blogs. So one is
Yeah.
your UX journey. So just kind of like a monthly overview. Yeah, there you go. Of what her
Yeah, so I have one blog, which is basically my UX journey experience on there. So if you're like, if you know someone who is interested in a Google course and want to be like, I literally give an overview of how long it's taking, how much I work on it each day, a little bit of what I'm learning, and even a breakdown of each day, so that you can see what that's all about. And then it'll end up being my portfolio website. So once my projects are finished, I'll be posting that on there as I do more freelance work and all of that. It'll be on there. So thank you for sharing.
Welcome. What was the other blog? You have 2 blogs on there. Don't you?
No, just one blog.
Cool.
I have more than one blog post up right now. I have like the introduction to why I chose UX and the transition there.
Yeah.
And then I have the second blog, which is for September. So the month of September, even though I didn't do the whole month, when I started the course and what UX design even is, you can look at it there. So
you're doing good. And you like it so far?
I love it. I love what I'm learning. I think I'm really good at it. And I'm excited to do this career transition.
Nice. She's doing good. I can't wait to share more updates and actually show off what you've been working on because she's doing really good. I'm very proud of her.
To me.
You do.
Supportive husband alert.
She's a bit of a perfectionist, but I feel like that's a strength in certain areas. Yeah. And so like, yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Good.
How has your week been?
My week was good. So like on the Ghost front, the company I work for, we just kind of redid a whole bunch of things. And now like we have a blog that's kind of a resources hub, and we have a weekly newsletter that was called Publisher Weekly, and now it's called the Ghost Newsletter. And it looks great. Like a lot of people pitched in, a lot of work went into it, and it looks so cool now. And then my personal site, is that what you're gonna type?
Yeah.
Cool. So Ramos,
or to the blog, it's up to you.
No, you can do the personal. So ramoswriter.com. So this is my personal ghost site, and yeah, and I have not put much on there, but I'm starting to. I'm trying to build that habit because like my day job is writing, so I haven't had a lot of brain space to do other things. So a lot of what's on there, I'm just starting to kind of brain dump these ideas that have been in my head or things I want to talk about. Some of them are related to what we're doing here. So like a lot of them are actually the money related, talking about open salaries and just some concepts that I think would be cool for us to dive in, but just trying to get them out of my head onto paper so that something is there to start with. Because like the whole idea, like the reason we're doing this stream is the small bets theory. So the idea is like, you just try a whole bunch of things like throwing spaghetti at the wall, things that basically don't cost much other than a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, and you just start seeing what works, what sticks, and then you build upon that. And so right now, like my portfolio of small bets is, we're starting to live stream. We're trying to see what that's like, if we like it, if people like it, doing a little bit of writing, just getting some opinion pieces out, seeing how people respond. And then started doing a little bit of crypto just to show like that it can be accessible. It doesn't have to be like this all or nothing kind of thing. Then I have some weird ones that I'd love to try out. Like I was telling you about the bricks in our house, but that's a future one. I think it'd be cool if it worked. And so yeah, just trying to make the whole like making money online space a little less scammy and a little more accessible. And so we'll see.
Yeah.
I have more to share down the road, but it's a good week. Good week.
I'm glad you're creating again.
Thank you.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Because you do amazing things for Ghost. And
like me.
we're always people who like projects and side hustleness. So
yes.
Trying to figure out what that looks like in 2021 is crazy. But good.
Yeah. And I mean, now we have some like stability and rhythm with having a house and having that. And so like,
oh, it's so nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So like we can actually think creatively about random projects again instead of, I don't know.
Worrying about everything else.
Yeah.
Not sleeping because of upstairs neighbors.
Yeah. We had some dream. We'll, that is a great topic. Like how we came to the house, and that whole money thing and sharing that, because I feel like depending what you read online, buying a house is either the best decision you ever make or the worst decision. I think it all depends on the context and how you go about it. And so I think we went about it the right way, and we had a lot of things fall in place in the right way. And so it worked out well. All right, drum roll. Anyways,
drum roll for
to actually get to the topic that is the topic of the day.
Dogs. You love them or you hate them. I feel like nowadays, it used to be like everybody loved dogs, but now it's like either you're a dog person or you're kind of not. I don't know. Maybe there's some lukewarm people out there and they can say that they are. But
yeah, I mean, I will say I was not a dog person until we got our own dog, and now like I'm a pretty big dog person. I'm even like a slightly more of an animal person. I don't know.
I like animals.
She was the one who brought up the whole dog thing. So let's talk about how we came to getting a dog.
Well, dog, baby fever, dog fever is a thing. You see these cute little puppies.
Baby fever.
I don't have baby fever, but just people know what it means. But if they say dog fever, they might not, right? Puppy fever. So
sounds like a horrible disease.
It does, but it's true, right? Like you see cute animals, you want to. I don't know how to say this without it sounding like we need kids, which we don't. Grow your family in a way that you can still be more independent.
Exactly.
And I just grew up with pets in the house. Shout out to them. I'm allergic to cats now as an adult, and he's allergic to cats, so that wasn't something we were gonna try.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't even know why now.
Well, yeah. I mean, we were having these conversations. So it was like near the end of the pandemic, or maybe the middle of it, actually. October.
It was October.
So about 6 months in. 6 months in. And we had been having talks about like basically delayed gratification. Like, what have we been putting off in our life? And in a lot of ways, we were putting off a lot of things. I'm putting this closer to you in case you're thirsty.
Thank you.
And so we were trying to find tangible ways of
living in the present.
Thank you.
Yeah, of living in the present, of like not being afraid to spend money that we've earned.
Large amounts of money.
Yeah. And so I just was kind of like, when we moved to Cincinnati, it just kind of put everything on hold. We were literally just there for me to have a job, which was an amazing job, but the life aspect was a little like, ooh, yeah. So, well, you pay attention then, okay? If you've been on the fence. Because, so we decided that we wanted to get a hypoallergenic dog. We wanted a small dog and did some research. Long story short, ended up being like, we want a Morkie, which is a Maltese and a Yorkshire Terrier mix.
Now, granted, I'm terrified through this whole process because like I'm agreeing to it because I saw like the value aspect of it. Like I knew we wanted to make a commitment like that, to add, to grow our family with the puppy, but also to live in the moment and make a financial commitment, to kind of do that. But it's still terrifying. Like,
you also aren't like keen on the idea of getting a dog. One partner usually kind of influences the other to cave in, and it was kind of at that point where I was like, I really want a dog. Let's get a dog. So unfortunately, small hypoallergenic dogs are rare in shelters
because people want them and keep them.
Yeah, and I mean, like a small dog with behavioral issues versus a large dog with behavioral issues, one is a little easier to manage. I can pick up Ajax when he's being an a-hole. Like, not so much. Yeah, to distract him or whatever. Anyways, so of course we bought, I did a lot of research and tried to find a smaller, maybe like family breeder in Ohio, because actually Ohio is one of the worst states with puppy mills.
Yeah.
So if you're looking in Ohio, just be mindful of that.
Do your research.
Because I know some people feel some way about supporting puppy mills, which is true because those dogs are in horrible conditions and then people buy from it and then it continues. At the same time, maybe you're rescuing them. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
They have a lot of illnesses.
They usually have a lot of health issues.
Which is something to watch.
But we won't get into that debate.
A dead horse?
What?
You said debate.
Debate.
Oh, I thought you said debate.
I said debate. Anyways, bloopers. So I ended up finding a Morkie from an Amish small family breeder who wasn't going to do it anymore. It was adorable.
Yeah, it was adorable. We'll have to find pics and like share the pic of the first time we brought him home. Like he was so small, like so literally, if you can see my hand, like just this little nugget of love.
He really was though.
And he's not much bigger now. He capped out at like 11 pounds. So exactly the kind of size.
And you can see.
Oh my gosh. Do you see that face?
That was him in the car ride home with his little, what are those called? It's like a certain puppy you can get that you can put a warm pack in it and it has a heartbeat. So it helps the dog. And that was great. And we ended up letting all his siblings like play with it. So it had a scent for a while, like the scent of the other dogs.
It was great.
So that was him.
Oh my gosh. You warmed my heart showing that picture.
I know.
It was so good.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Because it was during the pandemic, as you know, puppy prices like for buying were through the roof, and it was a local breeder.
And he was a high demand breed. Like,
he was, it is a high demand.
Morkies are very desirable. Yeah, so we paid. I feel like I don't know how many people actually know how many people know what we paid, but we paid $2,200 for him.
We did,
which, depending who you ask, is either astronomically high or like completely reasonable for a healthy, mixed, small hypoallergenic dog like that with good
Most people
breeders.
think it's a lot. I kind of think it's crazy looking back, but at the time, there were a lot more dogs for a lot more money.
Like the
and
price,
this was like a reputable breeder. Like,
the prices we were looking at were like between $4,000 and $6,000.
Oh yeah,
for
like
context.
If you were gonna go to Pets, what sells dogs? PetSmart, Petco.
What was that? Those? There's one in Cincinnati. I thought that was like.
No, it was one of those.
It was one of those.
If you go to like Petland or whatever, like those are. If you go for Petland or something, you're looking at like $6,000 minimum usually, unless it's a sale or whatever. And of course they throw in things, and you get like if your dog dies,
Yeah.
you can get another one for free.
But like
yeah.
we'll talk like there are ways to get the same kind of dog for much cheaper. That's not just like going to the pound or rescue. Like what was that? We can talk about puppy blues for the PSA.
Yeah.
But remember when we found that website when we were trying to find families?
Like Pet Finder or Puppy Spot.
Yeah, because like
just look around.
People are in situations where they need to have their dog move to another family, and a lot of time they don't just take them to the local pound or whatever. Like there's websites now that act as intermediaries that basically the dog stays with the original family until they find a new one.
Yes.
And usually like these dogs are more high end or smaller or whatever, and there's usually a fee involved, but it's way less. It's less than $500. It's like the
shelter fee, depending on where you go. And
so like that's a reasonable way to go about finding a similar kind of dog, not through a rescue pound. But yeah, it can be a lot.
Yeah. So the upfront cost, it just depends on what kind of dog you get. If you don't mind bigger dogs, like tons of rescues out there. All the shelters are over flooded, and there's a lot of reduced adoption fees for that.
Yeah.
So it's a good time.
$50 to get a dog that is fully vaccinated, neutered, chipped,
has been in training at the shelter a little bit. Like
insane.
Yeah. And that's because, of course, all the COVID dogs, the people are returning to work, or they didn't realize the non-glamorous side of owning a dog, and a lot, unfortunately, are being surrendered, which is so sad. Yeah. So I do, of course, like try your shelter first and see if there's a dog that fits your need.
We can talk about that. Like we're playing with the idea of getting him a sibling in the future, like maybe a year from now.
Yeah, probably.
And that we would most likely go that route to find something 20 pounds or less, hypoallergenic, that is older, ideally older than him.
It's like 2.
Yeah, that has 6. Been taken care of, so that we don't have to pay that same price for his sibling.
And it's possible. It's just like, so I look now just to say, like, is it possible? There are some small dogs. A lot of times they're on like mandatory stray holds, so they think it's like dogs who got away, which could be true. And they go quick. They go really, really quick.
Yeah, because they're desirable. But yeah, so let me give you a full cost breakdown for the people who are like waiting to hear that. So yeah, Bree keeps really good tabs on like all the financial stuff. So we could look that up. And then I can tell you like what our monthly cost is going forward, because it's a lot less than the initial. So like the first year, especially when you're getting a puppy, FYI, the first year is the most expensive because you have to get
we got him at 8 weeks, which is pretty standard if you're getting a fresh puppy.
Right.
Fresh puppy.
Right off the oven.
And vets will tell you different things, but for ours, we were taking him every
6 weeks.
It was a lot, every 6 weeks or whatever, for all of the first rounds of vaccinations. And that was for a couple months. Yeah. So until he was 5 months, I think, or something, 4 months,
right?
3 months. I don't remember.
So it depending, again, a lot of these depend on the type of dog you get, what they'll need, how much your vet actually charges. And things like that. So anyways, so you know how much we spent on the dog? That was $2,200. And then for health and insurance, so we have Lemonade. We have Lemonade pet insurance. So that covers just like accidents and like
illnesses.
Accidents and illnesses.
Yeah, we didn't get a wellness plan.
So it didn't cover like vaccine, things that were normal and mandatory and all that.
Yeah.
So the health and insurance stuff came out to $1,607 the first year. Then food, clothing, and toys. So we don't buy him like the craziest fancy food, but his belly did not like, basically the cheap stuff. So it's in there. We have some good food, and we have some good like natural treats like that. So things that are good for his belly and good for his health. I feel like, again, depending on the breed, you have to be mindful of what they can and can't eat.
Yeah.
So the first year, again, food, clothing, toys, we spent $1,430.
Yeah, that's like all the miscellaneous shopping too.
Yeah.
So it's primarily food, clothing, toys. And honestly, we're really conservative. Like half toys he has were gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we needed like cage and gates, right? That's all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the crate. Yeah, so honestly, that's probably really low for the shopping that you need for a dog. When you consider beds, crates, toys, clothes, food, treats, harness, collar, leashes, like because they grow out of that too. So we've had a few.
Yeah, we've had a few leashes.
And if you have a larger dog, then you need to go through even more unless it's like adaptive to the dog. I feel like other people usually spend more on their dogs. Like most of the clothing we have for him was gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Half the toys we have for them were gifted. So we keep it pretty minimalistic overall. But still have bought things, obviously here and there because that's not all on food.
No. Yeah, I mean, he eats like maybe half a cup to a cup a day.
Yeah, probably
it's not a big eater. Yeah. Again, some of the pros of having a smaller dog. And then the last category was grooming and daycare, which came out to $874. So altogether, and grooming and daycare is like when we'd go on trips or when we were working, we would put him in like a full day daycare sometimes. And then he's a long-haired dog. So for grooming, we need to make sure he doesn't get mats or tangled, or it can be bad for his skin.
He also unfortunately does the paraphimosis, or however you pronounce it. You can Google that.
Yeah, you can Google that.
We won't talk about it.
Keep this PG. What is it? What is it?
I think it's paraphimosis.
Dog paraphimosis. There you go.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You'll learn something new.
Oh dear. So the whole first year between buying him and then all the categories we talked about was $6,111. Which when I added it all up, I was like, what the?
Well, yeah, because if you Google like the average amount of money a dog costs a year, a lot of people will say, oh, like, $1,500. Which is like, that's like if you don't love your dog. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Shots.
It's more like if you really are super minimal about how you're how you like spend on for your dog. Because we had some friends who would spend lots of money. Right. So you just got to know, like, are you someone who would buy all the clothes, all the toys? Then that's gonna, change.
And granted, like I said, the first year is the most expensive.
The first year,
so once you get
especially
past
because the vaccinations.
Yeah, I'll talk about the monthly cost now. But like Kyle asked, does your dog need regular haircuts? And yeah, he does. So we, during the hotter months, we keep him a little shorter.
Yeah, we shave him for the summer. It's also like easier to take care of because he doesn't get matted and to clean.
And then during the winter we let him grow out, but even that, like, we still need to keep him brushed and keep like.
But she hates.
There's something called like a sanitary trim where they trim around all the nether regions and his face, and that just helps with health stuff.
Yeah, nails.
Yeah,
I am not comfortable enough to trim my dog's nails. I feel like you would save a lot of money if you could, because it's usually that his nails and the sanitary trim that we have to go to a groomer for.
So maybe like a minor thing once a month to every 4 to 6 weeks. And then like the bigger grooms quarterly. Yeah. About. So again, that depends on the type of dog. But for a quick monthly breakdown, so I did like the big annual first year, which, was a lot, but it definitely gets more reasonable. So like,
this is more like a typical budget. We may not be spending it all the time every month.
Right.
But I think this would be a good standard.
Yeah. So we have the Lemonade health insurance. So that way, like, if anything ever happens, vets are like insanely expensive. So if he got sick or if he got an accident or, God forbid, he like just hurt himself, that could be $1,000 bill, like a multi-$1,000 bill very easily. So our insurance is only $19 a month. Simparico Trio is like the gold standard.
It's the flea tick heartworm.
Yeah, it keeps him healthy and safe. for all those like basic things, and that's $20 a month basically. Vaccines, if you break it down, let me add that all up. So like vaccines, wellness visits, and vet visits. If you even it out.
Probably on average, if you even it out.
If you even it out on average, that's about $40-ish. And then between food, fun things like clothing, toys, like we just bought him a Halloween costume. That is adorable. Should follow her on Instagram. Her you have an Ajax
at
account.
the puppers_Ajax.
Nice. It's adorable. All pictures of Ajax. So all of that is about $40-ish a month. And then grooming, like I said, usually something minor, 4 to 6 weeks, major grooming quarterly. That's about $20-ish a month. And then we're not doing daycare right now, but if we did, that'd be closer to 60.
Yeah, we're hoping to rely on our networks for daycare. But if we ever just like, because part of that could be doggy day camp. Like maybe you just want your dog to be socialized with other dogs. Like that's important to us. We don't want him to always be alone. So that he's nicer to other dogs. Or maybe like you're going on a trip, family can't take them for a few days, so then you have to board them. So that's why we did that.
So like the normal-ish cost per month is about $140 a month to keep him healthy, insured, vaccinated, and alive, which, isn't that crazy? Going forward now, we're spending probably around the $1,500 a year mark, which is
that only 140?
Yeah, not counting the daycare and the miscellaneous. Yeah. And so that's a lot. Like it's
a lot.
Going forward, it's a lot more reasonable. And that's kind of how we justified the big upfront cost, because we knew, ideally, knock on wood, he's going to be around for 10 to 12 years. That's kind of what his breed lives to. So if you even it out, like that first year, stretched out and evened out is a lot more reasonable, especially when you're only spending $1,000 to $1,500 per year forever on.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more when he's older and needs things, but again, that's why we have the insurance to help.
Yeah, the insurance does help. He got nasal mites.
Oh gosh.
This year, so the insurance helped definitely.
Yeah, so like little things like that, you just don't know, and you can't. That's why insurance helps with budgets. Like I know a lot of people don't get health insurance, but it can definitely help.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. It's kind of one of those like, if he ever got into an accident, then instead of it costing thousands and thousands of dollars, our insurance covers 90%. I think is the kind we chose of it past our deductible, which would really save, right?
Yeah, like that's why we have health insurance and everything.
Yeah.
For humans stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope that was helpful. Just kind of a quick breakdown of the first year and then the monthly. And again, all that depends on the type of breed you're getting. And there's so many factors, and again, there are cheaper ways to do it. Like the links, the websites you mentioned, Pet Finder, and I don't remember the other one you said.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But you could find them.
Yeah.
Online.
And and if you ever want to dog sit for someone's dog to kind of see if you want one,
I would recommend before you get a puppy, particularly, that you dog sit someone's puppy, because I had a few people dog sit Ajax when he was just out of his reign of terror. And they honestly decided to wait to have a dog. They're like, probably not the right time. I've had other ones who also are kind of like, I'm not really for that puppy life. So maybe you skip the puppy phase and then you get because if you Google search, I didn't know, but the puppy, because we did research. It wasn't like we were going in this, obviously people glamorize getting a puppy just like they glamorize having kids, but it's hard. Obviously a puppy is less work than kids, but
still work.
It's still work. And I thought I knew what I was getting into, and I thought I knew I know, I'll have to get up in the middle of the night, multiple hours to take him out and do this and do that. He might chew, but like we got hit so hard with the puppy blues. And so the puppy blues is kind of like, I don't want to compare that to that. It's basically like you're so stressed and anxious from their puppy phase that like you're just stressed and anxious, like to the point of tears, and you're tired and exhausted, and you sort of regret having a dog. You don't know if you can do this or keep them.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot.
It's a lot. So you can Google puppy blues. It's like a real thing people go through.
And if you got a puppy and you're feeling that, like, it's completely normal.
People kept saying, this will pass, it'll get better. And I wanted to punch them in their faces because, like, I just felt like a platitude. But it really did get better. He's still a lot sometimes, but it got way, way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. So, like, pros and cons of having a dog. Pro, he's adorable, and we love having him part of our life.
Lots of love.
Like the social aspect, especially when we were in the apartment, like really easy way to meet other people. Like dog people are some of the best people for the most part. And, having a dog just immediately makes you part of that whole community. And that's really cool. Activity, like I feel like
I have never been outside more in my life.
Exactly.
Like we're introverted. We're a little bit more homebodies. But like when we got a dog during winter, like fall,
we were out.
I was out
multiple
walking
times.
him. Like it didn't matter. I hate the cold.
Going to parks. Me,
going to parks, being active.
Yeah.
Like
it was good. And so cons are obviously the cost.
Yep.
The time, like he's a little needy. Like
he's a little needy. We also thought the breed is notorious for like you can walk them 20 minutes a day, for twice a day, and they should be good. And he is
not that at
way
all.
more demanding.
Yeah.
Just to be honest.
Yeah, he's a handful. And then I don't know how to say it, the tied downness, like we can't.
There's a sacrifice to our freedom a little bit. We can't just go out on a whim for our, you're always thinking about him, even though we can leave him for 6 to 8 hours. Like there's still that like mental weight when you go out because you're like, hopefully he's okay. And also like we can't, if we wanted to go to.
We have to plan accordingly. Like when we went to Cedar Point overnight and, we had to navigate, make sure he was watched, make sure they had everything they needed, and just checking in randomly to make sure it was okay. That was like maybe the second or third time we've left him overnight somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, that aspect, which right now we don't have kids, like, because we like not having to worry about anyone else. And so having a dog is, in a very, very minor way, a taste of that. Just being like, oh, there's another living thing you have to care about and plan around before you can do stuff. So
it's easier when you can hand them back, right? It's easier when you babysit versus have a kid. It's easier when you dog sit versus have a kid. It's easier, like,
temporary.
So if you're thinking about it or you've been on the fence, hint, hint, puppy sit. If you want a puppy sit. If you want a dog,
puppy sit our puppy.
Dog sit. Yeah.
If you're in the Cleveland area, we'll give you him for a few hours.
He'd be happy. He loves people. And
he does.
Everything and everyone.
All the time. Nice. Yeah. So thanks. I think hopefully some of that.
Wait, let's see him again.
He's sleeping. He's so cute.
Oh.
Look at him. He's out, man. See?
He's sleeping.
We'll make it. I'll post a little picture of him. So we just wanted to end by saying hope that was helpful, and for the people who like watch this in the future, or in the few people here now, like what is something you're putting off purchasing and why? I think that's it. If you have an answer, you can put it in there now.
Purchasing.
But I think like working through why we didn't buy a dog up until when we did, like I feel like it's helped us a lot in this next season where now we have a little more resources to do with what we want. And so, like getting past that initial block helped us get past more in the
Other-
future.
Yep.
And so yeah, that was helpful. That was definitely helpful. So if there's something you've been putting off buying and you don't exactly know why, you haven't worked through why, like definitely a challenge to work through, because there's a lot of good things on the other side of that, whether or not you go through with the purchase.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's true.
And did mouth words again. Did what we shared today influence how you feel about getting a dog or a puppy if you don't already have one?
Yes,
That's an interesting thought.
it's true.
We love him. It's amazing. It's also hard.
Yeah,
And there are trade-offs.
it's not all.
It's not all rainbows and sunshine and puppy hugs.
I was trying to think of a dog equivalent of that. It's
There's
not
lots
all
of
licks and cuddles.
Yeah. There's lots of crap and
Destruction.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. But anyways,
Anyways.
thank you all for hanging out. And we'll be back next week. I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about yet, but we have a list of ideas and we're going to kind of,
If there's anything you want us to talk about,
yeah,
we're here for it.
let us know. Like you can still comment on these streams after they're done. Like either in the Facebook comments or on YouTube. It's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. It's a multi-stream. So basically, wherever you see it, if you comment there, we'll see it at some point.
Yeah.
But the idea is like whatever topics we talk about, we're gonna, what is the word I'm thinking about? Like gear it towards the financial stuff, because I feel like the financial stuff is the aspect we've thought a lot about, and I think that pretty much influences every aspect of our life.
Pretty taboo to talk about, but I
Exactly.
think people want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you can hear our dog dreaming, he's making noises
so
in his
cute.
sleep.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't know anyone who told me who actually bought a dog, not rescued one. Like, how much? Tell me exactly what you spent on every single category. So
Yeah,
hopefully
we're
that was
pretty
helpful.
transparent.
Like to be.
Not with everything, you know. We gotta keep some mystery.
Keep our secrets.
But yeah. Is that all?
That's it.
Don't forget, it's a beautiful day to have a great day.
No,
Go
that's
out
cute.
and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, on this beautiful Sunday. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next week at
Bye.
around-ish the same time. Peace.